Hello, dear friends. What a blessing to be with you today. I am broadcasting to you from the spiritual side of Richmond in Richmond, Virginia, in collaboration with Kardec Radio. We bring to you the Spiritist magazine program. Here we are every week discussing one of the issues. We get an article, we select a topic, and we read the article together and bring some points for reflection. You always want to remember, everybody, that you can access the Spiritist magazine by going to spiritistmagazine.org. That's the website. You can download the app, download the PDF version of the magazine, which is what I'm going to use shortly. You can also order a physical copy of the magazine for you to read at home. Use it for your spiritual growth, for your gospel at home, Jesus in the home, to give to friends and family. So many options. And today we're talking about issue 62. And the article is titled Others' Hopes by the Spirit MeiMei. Right here so folks know once they join us. And when you go to spiritistmagazine.org, you will be able to download the PDF version of the magazine, which would look something like this on your computer. Of course, this is my computer, so it looks slightly different. Where you can zoom in, you can zoom out, you can make notes, you can scroll down. Here are the thumbnails. And that's the article we're going to be talking about today. Others' Hopes by the Spirit MeiMei. What a blessing to be with you, and I hope this is very enjoyable. I hope that you can learn as much as I do when we talk about these topics, and we'll see what MeiMei has for you and I today. Right. We always want to bring the teachings of Spiritism to our daily lives and improve each and every way. And MeiMei says, almost always we concentrate so in life in our hopes, but hardly do we find ourselves thinking about the hopes of others. Reflection. How often we think about other people's hopes. What are they hoping for? What are they wishing for? What are they yearning for? Very important reflection. And she says, practice withdrawing yourself from self-preoccupations in order to reflect on others' wishes. Have we stopped today to think about, oh, maybe I am going to think less of my own self, my self-preoccupation, less mine, my, and I, and more we, ours, and them, right? We want to think more about the collective where we are here to be together in this earth. She says, perhaps you have not become aware that that where you are, no matter how you can begin the service, must properly address to the role of angels. This is a revelation. No matter how much you can give, how much you have, you can begin the service. And she's going to show us what the service properly addressed to the role of angels is. Are we aware, friends, that wherever you are in the world, God has put you there for a reason? Therefore, if God is allowing us to be here together, there's a reason. If God is allowing you to have your family, a reason. God is allowing you to work, a reason. God is giving you these beautiful children in your life, there's a reason. She says, I do not know. Let's see if I can make it a tad bigger So this last showing at one point. I do not know if you have already noticed more closely the sad man who sometimes crosses your path near your home with such a strange, closed expression. You are still waiting for a slight smile, but try to imagine his hopes. Maybe we are the strange, sad person with closed expression, with taciturn. We are like grumpy, we are somber, we are worried. Let's try to imagine the hopes of someone who may be passing us by that way, because they might be also in a moment of self-preoccupation. She says, he's a companion. Now she's explaining why the sad man has a strange closed expression. She says, he is a companion with a paralyzed wife and 4 children to support. Certainly, you do not have the means to satisfy all the demands, or maybe we do. However, among all, he has the simplest desire. What does the taciturn sad man desires? He wishes for the younger son to be more tightly wrapped up during the night. Perhaps he's cold. It will not cost you much to offer him a blanket so the desires can come true. Take heart in his condition. It will transform the bitter face into joy that lies imprisoned in his chest of cuffs of discouragement. But now, a parenthesis here in MeiMei's judgment. If we don't take the time to think about the sad man going by with this strange closed expression and take the time to ask and evaluate the need, we will not find that they were in need of a blanket. We may even assume, oh, they're grumpy, they don't like me. Because remember, we are in the world, and a lot of us, the majority of incarnates, are still in the self-preoccupation mode. Now she's going to give us another example of how we can leave our self-preoccupation in order to help others. She says, perhaps you ignore that woman of an unpleasant presence that expresses herself through offensive language, but she's nothing more than asking for ingrained observation. What happened to this one? She was abandoned by her companion who left her with 2 defenseless little ones. Still happening on the earth today. On top of not having work to assure her survival, she ends up on the roads that lead to more anguish. Of course, you will not be able to alleviate all the worries. However, all it might take to simply assist her in the sense of fulfilling her desire is to just enroll the 7-year-old son in a public school. You can do this and know the gratitude that will be expressed from within towards you in a form of sympathy. Sometimes we take for granted the things we have because we have passed through different phases, learned different things, not remember that someone helped us. And perhaps this woman does not know how to fill out the forms, does not understand the deadlines, and that's where you can come in kindly, respectfully, figure out what she needs or what he needs, and then go get it for them. We're not being diminutive of their position. We're not being condescending. We're actually building those relationships because it's not by mistake that that person crossed your path. More cases, she says. We have many more cases. That of a sick person who will be comforted with 10 minutes of inspiring words. A young boy who would be happy to receive a plain slice of cake. The irritated neighbor who can change for better with your friendly smile. Or that of a friend locked in domestic hardship, asking you for some phrases of peace and optimism that may bring the shadows to the light. These are all examples of things that are still happening today around us. And if we stopped being connected through these devices and we start connecting with one another, through reaching out, through going through, helping others, then we will know what the need is. She says, let us learn how to stay out of our own worries, to understand the hopes of others and mitigate them when you can. Then you will be serving in the mission of the angels, finding your own happiness. For every individual who you decide to offer specks of help will make you a luminous piece in the presence of God. Surprisingly, right? We think sometimes we are told, we think, we construct this in our minds that we have, that's not, I'm not enough, I don't have enough, or what I have, it's not a lot, so why would I give? But she's saying here, for every individual who you offer specks of help, sometimes it's a smile, sometimes it's a word, sometimes it's a good morning, sometimes it's moving the trash can from the neighbor back, sometimes it's giving the blanket, feeding the homeless. In our case in Richmond, we go to assisted living to help with our Spiritist centers. So the specks of help, the little things that we can just freely give, can make us this luminous piece of the presence of God. Because the spirits tell us what? What do they tell us? They tell us that we, the superior spirits and Jesus, work all the time. God is still working today. And we came here to work, and work is a useful activity. So when we take that moment to stop thinking about my family, my things, my house, my activities, my core memories, to think of others who have less, the society would be much different. Of course, we have to take care of ourselves. But if we only do that through the 80 years, if you're lucky to have 80 years of life on the earth, then we'll have progressed very little in our lives. And that's why the new generation needs to understand that while precious, they're not the center of the universe. We need to teach them there are others who need help. There are others who they can help. So they also feel purpose in being here. Science shows that people have some health challenges, mental health challenges, can benefit their own health by going to service, that community building, that relationship building. And remember, for each person you offer the speck of help, there is a spiritual friend to that person, a mentor and a guide that is thankful to you. Now you're building the relationship with the other realm. But that's not why we do it, to keep counts. But we are building it. So maybe one day when we need, we'll receive the help. Or let's put ourselves in the other people's shoes. If we were the woman left behind with the two children, the man with the paralyzed wife, wouldn't we be so happy to receive the blanket or the help enrolling the child into school? So we do unto others what we want them to do to us if we were in the same situation. And that's why we do to others is so important. So this is from the book. Oh, I'm sorry. God Awaits by MeiMei for Francisco Candido Xavier. And this is a much needed teaching for you and I today. I would like to encourage you, if your spiritual IQ was a little bit higher today, if we have nourished our souls, that you share, that you like, that you pass it along, because maybe someone else needs to know that whatever they have to offer, no matter how big, no matter how small that they think it is, it can make a big difference to those who are in need. They matter, and they are here to serve, and they can become that piece of light of the presence of God. Dear friends, what a blessing to be with you today. Don't forget to visit spiritistmagazine.org to get your copy, to get the app. And God willing, I'll be back with you next week with another program. Until then, stay well, stay safe, take care of yourselves and someone else, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.